Hi guys, Rose here with the Cackling Moon. This is going to be a client's tarot reading. This is a one-question tarot reading, and it's going to be all about my client's spiritual and psychic abilities. So they have a question regarding their path. They feel like there's more to learn. They feel like their abilities are advancing. There might be a new awakening happening, which I'm going to tap into because that's what I'm really feeling for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with, I have these other decks out from a previous reading, so while I talk, I'm going to be working with the Psychic Tarot for the Heart, but I'm also going to be working with the Rider-Waite deck. I want a basic tarot deck to work for with you, because I really want to just trust my intuition on this one. So I'm not going to worry about pretty decks with pretty images. I just want to get a basic tarot deck. So I'll be working with the Rider-Waite, the Psychic Tarot, and let's pull some of the Floret Oracle. Make sure that those are there. Perfect. Okay. So like I said, we're going to be talking about your abilities, your awakening, or your second awakening. Now, you have a very first awakening in your spiritual path. That is when you were first initially introduced to some sort of spiritual interest, whether it's a tarot, whether it's runes, or reading about psychic stuff, or you're reading about paranormal things, you're reading about mediumship. You start reading self-help books that are like inspiring. You are, something catches your attention and it really kind of starts to bring you into this rabbit hole. And so when you have that first initial spiritual awakening, that is the point where you get your mind is like, wow, I'm really interested in this. I want to learn more about it. So that's your first spiritual awakening. Just because you have an awakening doesn't mean you can't ever have another one. And what I think is taking place for you is you are having your second awakening. Now, your second awakening can often include symptoms. For me, when I went through a second awakening, it's like you were downloading all this information out of nowhere. You have growing interests. Maybe you're starting to see things that are really grabbing your attention. Like for me, it was pyramids. Okay. It was pyramids for me. I was also getting into all the alien stuff. And then I started to break out in a rash. I had a really nasty rash all over my body. And my dermatologist said it was eczema, but I feel it was really a symptom of my awakening that I was going through, because I never really had issues like that with my eczema before. And it went away after a couple months, but I feel like it was just like a physical symptom of all of this like crazy crap that I was downloading, like that my brain was taking in, and I was learning, and I was having crazy, like I saw my spirit guide for the first time in a meditation, and just all this stuff. So if you were experiencing anything like that, it could be a sign of your second spiritual awakening. Maybe your tastes are changing. You were interested in something different. You are like studying up on a whole new topic. You are just taking a class, or you are maybe after, once you initially accept this next awakening, you're going to be introduced to a new class or something that you can do. It works in different ways. But I will say that when I started my very first spiritual awakening, I was seeing 1111 everywhere. So maybe that's happening for you. Maybe you're seeing the number sequences, or I don't know. It's different for everyone. But when you feel it and you sense it, that something's different, just trust that. So from what your email said, it sounds to me like you are sensing a shift. There's a shift with you. There's growth. And there's a need for development. Don't end it. Don't let that be the end of your path. Just because, like I said, just because you go through one awakening doesn't mean you're not allowed to go through another. We will go through multiple ones. So, you know, embrace that. It's a beautiful experience. Sometimes it's a little crazy, like I said, with the rash and everything, but everyone's different. Your foods will change too. Your taste in food, your diet will change. Just a lot of stuff. So, what were we just talking about? So I pulled awareness, emotional loss, deception, and envy. Wow. Okay. So it's such a bright card, and then you are surrounded by a lot of negativity. So the Floret Oracle, we have loneliness, isolation, challenges, pleasure, indulgence, sensuality, and healing, sickness, and recovery. So you're definitely going through a shift. Physically wise, you may not be feeling well. Maybe you feel like you have more headaches. You feel nauseous at times. Foods don't taste the same like they used to. Maybe your taste buds are changing. Emotional loss. Interests, okay? Your interests are shifting. Things that once made you happy are no longer making you happy, okay? Same like the foods that once taste really good, they no longer taste good to you anymore. Trust all of that. That is symptoms of another awakening. And usually when you go through your first awakening, it's very subtle. Or, you know, like I said, you notice the numbers or whatever. But the second awakening can be very intense. And like I said, I went through a full body, like literally a nasty rash. It was so itchy and at times would bleed. It was almost purple, the color purple on my back. It was really weird. But it was intense. And then it went away and I have not had it since. So if you are going through a lot, if you're emotionally, physically feeling ill, that could be a sign. I'm not a doctor. I won't diagnose it, but I'm just saying from my experience, the second awakening can be it could be a doozy. Deception and envy. There's going to be people that are not going to be very supportive of this second awakening that you were going through. Perhaps you have paused